Welcome everyone to La Castellet. We're here in France for the French Grand Prix here in 2022. Home race to three of our drivers, Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly and Kevin King. It's 22 degrees here in the sunny skies of France, so let's go down and have a look at the track. There are 15 turns around this 5.8 kilometer circuit with just 2 DRS zones. There's 6 to the left and 9 to the right. It's a very flat track, not many elevation changes, apart from really the one we're looking at right now with the banked right-hander. So I hand it over to Jack Marshall for the grid.
Thank you, Sam. We had an amazing qualifying session yesterday afternoon. Charles Leclerc taking that pole position. Carlos Sainz, his teammate, P2. Ferrari have been great, locking out the front row many races this season. Lewis Hamilton, P3, and Verstappen, P4. They're both their teammates. Russell and Perez, 5 and 6. Best of the rest got Norris, then Alonso in 8th, Ricciardo, and the Williams of Kevin King in P10. Gasly in P11 with Esteban Ocon, P12. The 3 French drivers. Tsunoda and Bottas behind them with Mick Schumacher and Kevin Magnussen, the 2 Hasses. Zhou Guanyu, Alex Albon, and then rounding off the grid we have the 2 Aston Martins of Stroll and Vettel. This is an amazing race, Sam, don't you agree? I feel like there will be some intense battling between these drivers.
Yeah, I think we're in for something special today. Obviously, we've seen several times this season, Ferrari locking out the front row of the grid, and all 3 French drivers lining up all right next to each other. King, Ocon, and Gasly all lined up next to each other.
Yes, I mean, they're so close. It'll be very intriguing to see who the crowd is cheering for, Kevin King, Gasly, or Ocon. I mean, they're all in that position, a fight for P10, which we know is the crucial place for some of those midfield and lower back marker teams.
Yeah, and obviously Ocon and Gasly are already race winners in Formula One, and Kevin King has been doing absolute wonders in that Williams. So yeah, I think they won't really know who to cheer for. They'll be cheering for everyone here.
Yes, indeed. I mean, I also want to point out the Red Bulls are on a different strategy from everyone else. They've gone the mediums while every single other driver has gone for the softs. What do you think Red Bull are thinking here?
I'm thinking they want to play the long game. They probably I'm guessing they want to try and use the pace advantage from the Mercedes and the cars around them to try and push ahead of them and just keep them behind and stay out longer. So when they pit for mediums, Red Bull can stay out a bit longer, and then when Red Bulls pit for softs, they've got that massive pace advantage that could just push back through the field. Yes,
that seems to be the strategy. I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
Yes, and we don't have to wait much longer as we now go to the 5 red lights for the French Grand Prix in 2022. It's lights out and away we go. Charles Leclerc gets a good start. Carlos Sainz coming over to cover off Lewis Hamilton, who's already alongside him. And Charles Leclerc leading into turn 1. Lewis Hamilton trying to go down the inside of Carlos Sainz. George Russell going down the inside of Max Verstappen, squabbling places there. Russell getting ahead of Verstappen, and Norris getting ahead of Perez. But Charles Leclerc has stayed ahead into the first part of this race.
Yes, I mean, Sergio Perez has not had a great start here. He's now squabbling with Fernando Alonso. Lando Norris jumping in the first corner. That's great from the McLaren. He usually qualifies P7 and that's his usual finish, but P6, he'll be really wanting that place this race.
Yeah, and we just saw with the team radio there, Zhou Guanyu got damage to his front wing as Fernando Alonso goes around the outside of Sergio Perez. Perez is not having a great start. Down from P6 down to P8 already.
Yes, he is not. He is currently under pressure from Daniel Ricciardo, who's trying to go down the inside of him. I think he may stick this, but Perez is sticking around the outside. Oh, this is an intense battle between the 2 drivers. Daniel Ricciardo getting slightly ahead. That is great driving from the McLaren. Perez getting overtaken by both the McLarens and Fernando Alonso. That is not a great start.
Yeah, I don't think this medium soft strategy is going to work for Red Bull all that well. They seem to be getting swarmed by all the soft runners around them, this just doesn't seem to be the great start to their race as Perez's engineer says just stay frosty, stay calm. We have the faster car, so just keep the pace up. Their soft tyres will drop off soon, and I think that's when Red Bull's going to want to try and fight through the field.
Yes, and Red Bull has not been doing well in the start, but who has been doing well? Mercedes. George Russell was starting in P5 and he jumped Verstappen, or did he stay ahead of Verstappen?
He jumped Verstappen.
He jumped Verstappen,
P5,
yes.
I believe.
He jumped Verstappen to take that P4, and now the Mercedes are really close together and they can now both work together to attack the Ferraris in front. The Ferraris have been absolutely dominating recently in Silverstone and Austria.
I think we're now watching Joe's incident where he lost his front wing. We're now seeing just ahead of just coming over to cover him off. There's Kevin Magnussen and Stroll now coming ahead of him as they head into turn 1. Yeah, he just makes a bit of contact with Stroll. Just loses the front wing end plate, I think.
Yes, I mean that end plate just goes flying off. Here we are following Lewis Hamilton, who's within a second DRS range of Carlos Sainz. DRS will soon be activated. It'll be activated on the third lap of this race. We're currently in the second lap. Here we go into Perez, who is currently right behind Daniel Ricciardo. I believe he'll be trying to make an overtake. The Red Bull is a lot faster than McLaren, so he'll be trying to make up that distance. Will he go around the inside or the outside? He does not get close enough. That is very interesting.
Yeah. This is probably this is not one of, Red Bull's always been known for their great tyre strategies and their great strategies in general. But this seems to be coming back to bite them a bit. I think they would have wanted to at least hold position, or just lose maybe one position. But Perez, down in P9, would not be the start that they wanted, and so now he's going to have to try and fight back to get those positions back. But he will get a good bite of DRS down the back straight here, and I think he's going to try and go for the move on Daniel Ricciardo. But I don't know. He's just not quite close enough. As they go into the left-hander, then the right-hander, then the swooping left-hander, into the flat-out right-hander there.
Yes, I mean, Perez will probably be overtaking Daniel Ricciardo soon. Daniel Ricciardo does not have DRS here. He is over a second behind Fernando Alonso, so he will be very, very open to attacks. But Sergio Perez also has Kevin King behind him, who's only 5/10 behind at this time, so he'll be also getting DRS to attack Perez.
Yeah, that's honestly great stuff from Kevin King, keeping a couple faster cars behind him. Williams, we know is one of the worst cars on paper, but Kevin King getting through to Q3 and qualifying P10, great stuff from him.
Yes, absolutely great. Kevin King has had some amazing starts this season. I mean, in a Williams, which is pretty much the worst car on the grid in terms of straight performance. It has been outshined by some of its competitors in recent years.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to Williams with their incredible racing history. They just don't really seem to have the car at the moment.
Yes,
but still great stuff from King and Albon, who's a bit further down, but he's still managing to keep the incredible man Sebastian Vettel behind, as we're now focusing on the Williams of Kevin King, right up the tail of Sergio Perez, who's right up the tail of Daniel Ricciardo, and I think we may see a move here, Jack.
Yes, I mean, Sergio Perez tried to move down the inside of Ricciardo, but Ricciardo managed to block him off. That was pretty aggressive from Ricciardo. I think he's trying to get his shoulders out to keep that position, maybe just to keep Perez behind him to help his teammate Lando Norris, who will be loving that P6 place he's currently in. So will Fernando Alonso, P7, both amazing places for both of them to be. I mean, the McLaren Alpine fight this year is super close, so every point matters for both of those teams.
Yeah, and this is probably an especially important race for Alpine, given it's their home race. We forgot when we were starting this, when we were going through the grid. This is not only King, Gasly, and Ocon's race; it's Alpine's home race as well. So they're going to want to do well here. But with Fernando being the only point-scoring person currently, and both McLarens being in the points, that's not incredible news for Alpine.
not incredible news, but Esteban Ocon is really close. All of the French drivers are super close to each other. They are all fighting for that P10 position. We can see them on screen now. We have Kevin King behind Sergio Perez, who are currently watching, Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon, but here we see Perez going around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo. That is an amazing move. He managed to stick all the way ahead of that. That is amazing from Sergio Perez. That's just amazing driving. He managed to get all the way ahead of Daniel Ricciardo before the corner even started.
Yeah, that's great stuff from Sergio Perez, getting ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, and Gasly trying to go around the outside of Kevin King. King defending for his life, defending the outside, pushes Gasly wide and keeps that P10 position, that crucial P10 position, crucial points for Williams, but Gasly is still right on his tail, and Ocon's joined the party now. All three of them having a great little squabble here, and now we're focusing on George Russell, who's under pressure from who is this? Max Verstappen, I believe, as the first round of people starting to come into pit. Charles Leclerc coming into pit, and a couple other people as well, I believe.
Yes, I mean, the front runners are starting to pit, which will give the Red Bulls particularly some of that clean air so they can run their strategy. They're on the mediums with everyone else being on the softs. Max Verstappen currently 0.3 behind George Russell, so really close to him. He'll be really wanting to push on that DRS straight because Russell's tyres will start to be going out, but Verstappen's will still be in that key window. He'll be getting DRS this lap. Here we see him with DRS following George Russell with that slipstream. He's going around the outside of George Russell. This is amazing from Max Verstappen. Will he be able to stick ahead? And he does, before the braking zone even. That is an amazing exit. That's an amazing drive, just in general for Max Verstappen.
Yeah, up into, I believe, will be a net P4, but, you know, currently P2, until the rest of the drivers come into the pits and make their mandatory stops. But yeah, great stuff from Max Verstappen, and there wasn't really a whole lot George Russell could have done there. Red Bull just, we already know they're incredibly fast on the straights. So yeah, wasn't a whole lot George Russell could have done there.
Yes, and I feel like George Russell probably would be pitting this lap. There may not have been a lot of fight in him here. Yeah, we see him pitting, as well as Lando Norris, both pitting, with Max Verstappen the only one still out of the front runners. And I imagine Sergio Perez will also be staying out on that medium strategy.
Yeah, it's now a Red Bull 1-2 just for now. But yeah, I think we're going to see how the order seems to shape up in a bit. But yeah, here we are on board with Max Verstappen, going around the first few turns, coming towards the end of Sector 1, coming round towards the back straight as he rounds the right-hander, then through the left-hander into the onto the DRS straight, even though he doesn't have DRS because there's no one in front of him. He's got clean air, he's free to push, and that's good for Max Verstappen. And now we're focusing on Lewis Hamilton up the back of Carlos Sainz. He's going to try and, I believe they're going around, this is the DRS straight. Lewis Hamilton on the back of Carlos Sainz, going to try and push and get that DRS to try and potentially try and overtake him.
Yes, I mean, Lewis Hamilton has the fresher tyres than Carlos Sainz. I mean, only one lap earlier, but Carlos Sainz will be still trying to get those tyres in that window where he can get the maximum grip out of the tyres. Lewis Hamilton wasn't able to get him on the DRS straight, but he will be getting closer and closer as he uses that extra grip in his tyres that he has over Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, and coming very close to track limits there. But yeah, Lewis Hamilton got that experience, got the pace, and got the car for it. And I think he's going to try and just stick with Carlos Sainz and try and make the move probably in the next couple laps.
Yes, I mean, he will be really hungry just to get ahead of Carlos Sainz, get that distance between them. I mean, Sainz currently has a 3 seconds behind Charles Leclerc, so maybe Lewis Hamilton be wanting to push through to get that 3 seconds into Charles Leclerc's DRS range so he can then overtake for the lead. But I'm not entirely sure of Mercedes' strategies right now. They still have George Russell behind Lewis Hamilton. Maybe they're accounting for him as well. Who knows in the strategy team?
Yeah, and now I believe we're focusing on Daniel Ricciardo and Kevin King, who's actually jumped Ricciardo through the pit stops. Great stuff from Kevin King. But yeah, now I think we're focusing on Daniel Ricciardo as they go through the last couple turns before the DRS straight. Daniel Ricciardo is very close, just about 4 tenths behind Kevin King there, and I think he's going to get a good bite of the cherry, good bite of DRS, and he's got a better exit out of the corner than Kevin King, and I think he's going to try and go for the move as we see him going around the outside of Kevin King, and he's going to go around the outside through the corner, then to the inside. Kevin King defending like a madman and keeps the position, and Gasly has joined the party now. As Kevin King does some great defending there.
That is some amazing defending, but Daniel Ricciardo is trying again. I do see the futility there. I think he should be saving his tyres, saving his ERS for another attempt on another DRS straight. There's another DRS straight coming up soon on the main pit straight, so he'll be looking there to try again at Kevin King. He was super close, but he just wasn't able to stick it around the inside.
Yeah, that's just a little bit unfortunate for Daniel Ricciardo, but Kevin King, obviously great defending, doing great work in that Williams car at the moment. But we're now he's gonna get another bite of the cherry along here. We're now focusing on Max Verstappen, who's dropped behind Lewis Hamilton, as I believe he has come into pit. He's running the soft tyres now, as the rest of the drivers are running the medium tyres. So Max will have that pace advantage at the end of the race, but his tyres may start to drop off in the last couple of laps.
I mean, something I want to point out is Max Verstappen is 2 whole seconds ahead of George Russell. I know he overtook him when George Russell was pitting, but George was maybe 0.3 behind him, so not a 2 whole second gap, which maybe leads to the conclusion that maybe the medium soft strategy wasn't a bad idea after all. We still have Sergio Perez ahead, who hasn't yet pitted in. Here we see Daniel Ricciardo on the inside of Kevin King, but he doesn't make it. But Gasly, here we see Gasly trying to take advantage of it, but he doesn't make it. That is an intense battle that we nearly missed right there for the crucial P10 spot. Here we see Gasly again going down the inside. This battle never ends. Ricciardo struggling. Here we see Esteban Ocon going on Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo may have an issue, but we don't yet know. That is terrible for Daniel Ricciardo, I must say, losing 2 places to the 2 French drivers, Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon. I mean, McLaren, while Lando Norris is far ahead, is probably not impressed with Daniel Ricciardo's performance at the moment.
Yeah. I think Ocon overtaking him pushed him a little bit wide. May have been a little bit of contact, but I think we're going to see on the straight he may have potentially a bit of an engine issue, but I don't know. We're going to see DRS, but he seems to be losing time to Ocon. So maybe he does have some sort of issue, some sort of engine problem, or something of the rather. But now we're going to see Gasly actually getting past and getting into that crucial P10 spot. 2 of the 3 French drivers scoring points in their home Grand Prix, which will be great stuff for them.
Yes, and something again I want to point out. I know I've already said this, but about the Red Bull strategy, we were critical at the start, but Sergio Perez has jumped 2 positions to get into P7 after staying long, and now he's on those better soft tyres. Maybe
up ahead of Kevin King.
Yeah, ahead of Kevin King, ahead of Fernando Alonso as well. Maybe the medium soft strategy was the best one. Here we see Max Verstappen behind Lewis Hamilton, 2 tenths behind going into the DRS straight ahead. Do you think Max Verstappen will be able to overtake Lewis Hamilton here?
He's got maybe not this lap, but probably in the next few laps, because he's still got another 3 laps, and he's got those soft tyres. But if you want to, as we're just seeing on the right hand side of the screen, you want to vote driver of the day, go vote down in the comments who you think should be driver of the day, and make sure while you're doing that to hit the subscribe button and hit the like button as well, and just hit that bell to just get any notifications of when something else might come up whenever we upload a new video, if we upload a short, or if we upload a little poll or something like that. just to see if we need something else to help make this experience better for you guys. But yeah, we're now going to see, I think, Max Verstappen coming onto the DRS straight. No, we are going to watch Verstappen start instead. Yep, we're going to see just Hamilton and the two Ferraris just ahead of him, getting an okay start, coming off to cover off George Russell. Actually a pretty decent start, given everyone around him was on soft tyres. And yeah, George Russell going down the inside, and then around the outside, Max Verstappen gets a little bit crossed up. But yeah, honestly, would not call that a pretty bad start from Verstappen. Lost one position, but he is on a harder compound. And now we're watching Sergio Perez's start. I thought we were watching Verstappen start again. But yeah, Sergio Perez, getting not as good a start from Max Verstappen, and Norris coming down trying to come down the inside of him, and I don't believe he's going to have to go. Oh, he will have to go around the outside, but seems to be a bit of an easier job for Lando Norris. And then we're going to see Alonso, I think, going around the outside of the next corner potentially. Yeah, right there he is. A little bit of contact between them, but yeah. I think Perez may have just had a little bit more trouble trying to get his tyres warmed up. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a greatest start for the two Red Bulls, but they were on medium tyres. So, I mean, I can see why they had a less advantageous start. And yeah, Alonso going around the outside. We remember seeing Perez lose that position in the opening lap. Not a great opening lap for either of them. But I feel like at the end of the day, the medium strategy did really work. It did give them an advantage, even if they lost a bit of advantage at the start. Ricciardo on the inside trying to look down, and yep, Perez loses the position yet again. It wasn't a great start for Perez.
Yeah, and we're now seeing Max Verstappen on the tail of Lewis Hamilton once again, as they come into the final few corners before the DRS straight. Around the back, I think he's going to have him here. I think his tyres are all warmed up. They're kind of in peak grip before they start to go off, and I think Max is going to get him here. He's got a better exit than Lewis Hamilton out the corner before the back straight, and he's going to potentially try and go around the corner. Nah, I think he's just going to try and stick behind him. But I think he's hungry for that position.
Yeah, I mean, Verstappen does not have long left. He's only got a lap and a bit to try and get ahead of Verstappen. And Lewis is trying to get ahead of Sainz ahead of them. This is the crucial battle for the podium places in the closing lap. I think Verstappen should be a bit more aggressive. I also think Lewis Hamilton should be a bit more aggressive in attacking that position, because at the end of the day, they need those points. The championship is so close right now. Ferrari has been shrinking the gap to Red Bull, and Red Bull needs to get ahead so Ferrari does not dominate them in the middle part of the season to gain back points and take the lead of the championship back. Though we are going back onto the DRS straight. This is where they will be attacking each other, ruthlessly attacking. Lewis Hamilton attacking Carlos Sainz, Verstappen attacking Hamilton. Will they get close enough to each other? No, they don't. It is an intense battle for P2 at the end of the day. And here we are watching Kevin King, Pierre Gasly, the other Frenchman behind them. They're both in the points position, but Daniel Ricciardo behind them is not. Pierre Gasly getting DRS and going down the outside of Kevin King. There's an amazing, is there contact there? I do not know. Kevin King sticking ahead of Pierre Gasly. That was an amazingly aggressive move from Pierre Gasly. I wonder if that was really worth it.
Yeah, I was just having a quick look at at Gasly's end plate there. I don't know if there's any damage, but yeah, I think that was a bit of a gutsy move from Pierre Gasly, and I think it was a little bit over optimistic, but he will get another bite of the cherry down this DRS straight. And this will be his last chance. I think he's going to try and give it all he's got, going down the outside and getting ahead of Kevin King before they get to the corner. And he locks up. Kevin King goes back through, and Daniel Ricciardo now alongside Pierre Gasly. He's got it all crossed up. Pierre Gasly, trying to go for P9, is now tragically down in P11. And yeah, That's a nightmare for Pierre Gasly, and I think Ocon's trying to go round the outside of him as they go around this long right-hander. Ocon gets pushed a little bit wide, and I now believe we're seeing Charles Leclerc winning the French Grand Prix, 5th win of the season, his 5th win for Ferrari, and his 20th podium. That's great stuff from Charles Leclerc, and yeah.
Grande Carlos. Nice one, guys. Nice one.
That's great stuff from Charles Leclerc. He, after the pit stops, he had led the race start to finish. Apart from the Red Bulls on a different strategy, but yeah, Charles Leclerc dominated this race. Not quite his home race, very close to his home race, because he is in Monaco, which is just on the coast of France. But yeah, still great stuff from Charles Leclerc, and great stuff from Lewis Hamilton getting in P3 and holding off Max Verstappen for most of that race. That's great stuff from every driver out there today. And another Ferrari 1-2. I believe this is their third 1-2 in a row. This will be great for their standings. And yeah, great for Charles Leclerc, who before this race was only 18 points behind Max Verstappen, and that gap will have shrunk now.
Yes, this is an amazing day for Ferrari. They are closing that gap between them and Red Bull. This is a tight fight. We thought the championship for the Constructors' Championship was gone, but that is now back in contention with Ferrari 1, 2, 3 in a row. Here we see Charles Leclerc, 26 points, the win plus the fastest lap, then Carlos Sainz's teammate, Lewis Hamilton, then Max Verstappen, Perez, Russell dropping off from P4 in the first opening lap, dropping all the way down to P6, Lando Norris in his traditional P7 with Fernando Alonso, Kevin King, then Daniel Ricciardo in P10. This is some crucial points for McLaren, for Williams, for Alpine, for all those midfield teams. Max Verstappen still in the lead, but only by 4 points. This is a tight championship with Sergio Perez, P3 in the entire championship with George Russell, Carlos Sainz, Lewis Hamilton. Norris is the best of the rest for the other teams with Fernando Alonso bit behind him, Esteban Ocon, his teammate, with Kevin Magnussen doing a great performance in the Haas over the season with 11 points. This is some great driving from Leclerc, getting closer. Red Bull is still in the lead, but it's a close championship so far, with Ferrari not that many points back, only 16 points. Mercedes in third with McLaren and Alpine. The battle is getting a bit wider with McLaren getting ahead. Haas and in P6, Williams, Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin. AlphaTauri missing out their first points of the season with Gasly at his home race today. They still have 0 points, last in the championship.
Yeah, and just remember, you guys, just remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell to get a notification whenever we upload, and I'll see you next time.